Göbekli Tepe, the world's first temple. High on a limestone plateau in southeastern Turkey lies one of the most mysterious archaeological sites ever discovered, Göbekli Tepe, or Potbelly Hill. At first glance, it seems like nothing more than an ordinary mound of earth and stones. Yet beneath the surface rests a construction that has rewritten human history. Dating back nearly 12,000 years, Göbekli Tepe predates Stonehenge by more than 6,000 years and the Egyptian pyramids by over 7,000. Its discovery shattered long-held assumptions about the rise of civilization, forcing us to reconsider when and how humans first began to build monumental architecture, practice organized religion, and create complex societies. A discovery that changed history. Although locals knew of the hill for generations, it wasn't until 1963 that a team of American and Turkish archaeologists conducted a survey in the region. Initially, they assumed the scattered limestone fragments were just part of an abandoned Byzantine cemetery. It would take another 30 years before the true significance of Göbekli Tepe was realized. In 1994, German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt visited the site while searching for prehistoric settlements. Unlike earlier researchers, Schmidt recognized the massive, T-shaped stones for what they were, ancient megaliths. Excavations began the following year, and what emerged stunned the world. Circles of towering stone pillars, some weighing more than 20 tons, arranged in intricate enclosures. Each pillar was carved with images of animals, abstract symbols, and mysterious humanoid figures. Radiocarbon dating revealed an even greater surprise. The site was constructed around 9600 BCE, during the pre-pottery Neolithic period. This was thousands of years before the invention of writing, the wheel, or even large-scale farming. Humanity was supposed to still be living in small hunter-gatherer bands at that time, incapable of organizing the labor and engineering needed for such a project. Yet Göbekli Tepe stood as undeniable evidence to the contrary. The architecture of a forgotten world. Göbekli Tepe consists of multiple circular and oval-shaped enclosures, with stone pillars up to 6 meters tall arranged in rings. At the center of each enclosure stand two larger T-shaped monoliths, facing each other like guardians or deities. Archaeologists believe these central pillars represented powerful beings, possibly gods, spirits, or mythological ancestors. The carvings on the stones are equally fascinating. Foxes, wild boars, snakes, scorpions, vultures, and lions adorn the surfaces, their stylized forms brimming with symbolic meaning. Some stones feature abstract symbols such as H-shaped motifs, crescents, and hands with long fingers, suggesting a complex symbolic or spiritual language that is still undeciphered. What's striking is that Göbekli Tepe was not a settlement. Archaeologists have found no evidence of houses, hearths, or agricultural activity within the site. Instead, it appears to have been a place of gathering, ritual, and ceremony. For this reason, many scholars call it the world's first temple, a sanctuary where early humans came together to worship, feast, and perhaps initiate new forms of social organization. Who built Göbekli Tepe? The biggest mystery is who exactly built Göbekli Tepe. The people of the region at the time were hunter-gatherers, living off wild plants and animals. Conventional wisdom once held that complex architecture and organized religion only arose after farming enabled large, settled communities. But Göbekli Tepe turns this logic upside down. The site suggests that hunter-gatherers were capable of organizing massive labor projects long before agriculture. How did they quarry, transport, and erect multi-ton stones with no metal tools or domesticated animals? It likely required coordinated teams of hundreds of people, ropes, levers, and immense planning. This hints at a surprisingly advanced level of social cooperation. Some scholars propose that building Göbekli Tepe actually spurred the development of agriculture. To feed the large groups of workers and pilgrims who gathered there, communities may have begun cultivating wild grains and domesticating animals. In this sense, religion and monumental architecture may have preceded farming, not the other way around. Göbekli Tepe may represent the spark that set off the chain reaction leading to civilization itself. The purpose of the temple. Why was Göbekli Tepe built? Archaeologists have put forward several theories. One possibility is that it was a ritual center for a wide network of hunter-gatherer groups. People may have traveled long distances to gather for ceremonies, feasts, and shared religious experiences. The animal carvings may represent totems, spiritual guides, or mythological stories passed down through generations. Another theory is that it was a site of ancestor worship. The T-shaped pillars, with their abstract human arms and hands, might represent stylized figures of gods or revered ancestors. By gathering in the temple, people may have sought to connect with the spirits of the dead or the forces of nature. Some researchers even speculate that Göbekli Tepe functioned as a kind of astronomical observatory, with alignments tied to celestial events such as solstices, equinoxes, or star constellations. This remains a debated but intriguing possibility, suggesting that the builders may have had sophisticated knowledge of the skies. The mystery of its burial. Perhaps the strangest aspect of Göbekli Tepe is that it was deliberately buried around 8000 BCE. Over hundreds of years, its enclosures were systematically filled with rubble and earth. By the time it was abandoned, the site was completely sealed off, preserved like a time capsule beneath the soil. Why would the builders go to such effort to bury their temple? The answer is still unclear. Some suggest it was an act of reverence, a ritual closure of sacred ground after its use had ended. Others argue it was a practical measure, perhaps to protect the site from enemies or natural disasters. Another possibility is that the society that built it underwent profound changes, such as the adoption of farming on no longer needed the rituals performed there. Whatever the reason, the burial ensured Göbekli Tepe survived nearly intact for millennia, waiting to be rediscovered. Challenging the story of civilization. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe has forced historians and archaeologists to rethink the traditional narrative of human progress. For decades, the story went like this: humans discovered farming, settled in villages, grew into cities, and eventually developed religion and monumental architecture. But Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite, that religion and communal gathering may have come first, inspiring the social organization that led to farming and urban life. If this is true, Göbekli Tepe was not just a temple but the birthplace of civilization itself. It suggests that humans may have been motivated less by practical survival and more by the search for meaning, spirituality, and connection. Civilization, in other words, may have been born not in the fields but in the temples. Unanswered questions and speculation. Despite decades of excavation, Göbekli Tepe remains an enigma. Many questions are still unanswered. What exact rituals took place there? Did the carvings form an early symbolic language, a proto-writing system now lost to time? Was the site the work of one unified group, or a shared project by multiple tribes? Why did its builders abandon it so suddenly? Some fringe theories even propose connections to lost civilizations, forgotten knowledge, or advanced ancient cultures, though mainstream archaeology remains cautious about such claims. Still, the sheer sophistication of Göbekli Tepe built so early in human history leaves room for wonder. A legacy carved in stone. Today, Göbekli Tepe is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 21st century. Excavations continue, but it's estimated that only about 5% of the site has been uncovered. Beneath the hill lie countless more enclosures, pillars, and secrets waiting to be revealed. For visitors, the experience is breathtaking. Standing among the massive stones, one feels the weight of thousands of years and the presence of people who, though long gone, still speak through their carvings. They remind us that human imagination, creativity, and spirituality stretch back far earlier than we once believed. Göbekli Tepe is more than just ruins. It is a reminder that the story of humanity is far older and more complex than we imagined. Built by hunter-gatherers who dared to dream of something greater than survival, it represents a turning point where humans first came together in shared belief and monumental creation. It was a place of gathering, worship, and mystery, a temple not just of stone, but of human spirit. Its builders are anonymous, their language forgotten, their rituals unknown, yet their legacy still shapes us. In its silence, Göbekli Tepe whispers a profound truth, that long before we built cities and empires, we built stories, myths, and temples. And perhaps, in that act, civilization was truly born.